When it comes to the multitude of weapons in Fallout New Vegas, I find that energy weapons are, in my opinion, the most unique class, just in sheer diversity. There's a lot of interesting choices when it comes to picking an energy weapon, and that's why today I wanted to ask if you can beat Fallout New Vegas using only the Recharger pistol. Before we jump into this today, I wanted to give you guys a quick update on where I've been, since it's been a couple months since you guys have really seen or heard from me, and I do deeply apologize for that. I've had a lot of life issues come up, whether it's been work, since I've went back to work full-time, or some small medical issues, such as getting a weird version of E. coli and food poisoning for like a week and a half, which wasn't really that fun, among a bunch of other shit. But basically that kind of halted the whole content creation scene for quite a while, and I didn't really have time or really the effort to upload anything. But I should try to hopefully be back on schedule now and try to get some more videos out for you guys to enjoy. And I do apologize for being kind of missing and not really updating anybody on, whether I was actually alive or not. But rest assured, I am indeed alive, and content will hopefully resume very shortly. Thank you guys for, of course, being patient, but let's jump into today's run. So, starting out with my specials, I maxed out Perception, dropped Charisma to 1, and dropped Strength all the way to 2. The Recharger pistol has a very low Strength requirement, which was kind of surprising for me. I figured it would be up around like 4 or maybe 5. I guess generally pistols don't have a high Strength requirement in Fallout New Vegas, but I don't know, I just figured the Recharger pistol would at least have some sort of requirement. Having only 2 just seems very low even for pistol standards, although I did zero research to compare that to any of the other pistols to actually see if I was just crazy or not. Anyways, once I went out into the wasteland, the first thing I did was, of course, just move on and head directly for the strip. Considering I can't really do anything until I get the Recharger pistol, of course, my first goal is making it to the strip. It's a fairly standard run there, as is with all my runs, considering I just beelined it for Hidden Valley, and by extension, Black Mountain, so that I could shortcut my way to the strip as quick as possible. Usually it only takes me around maybe 15 to 20 minutes after character creation to get to the strip. Sometimes I do get a little sidetracked or have to, fix crashes, mod updates, etc., but for the most part it's a fairly straightforward process. I did stop by 188 Trading Post for no real apparent reason. I didn't ever come back here, I just wanted to sell stuff to a merchant, I guess. I really don't know why I stopped here. I generally have no reason to, but after that it was a pretty simple run just to get to Freeside. Now I know I said I was headed to the strip, because that's technically what I was doing, but Freeside was really the goal here, considering I needed to go to the Silver Rush. Now, you're probably wondering how I'm going to have the caps to even afford the Recharger pistol, and good news, I don't need caps. There's one laying here right on the table, which I can just take over to the bathroom and, unethically put in my pockets, and then spam repair kits on it so that I have a nearly full health Recharger pistol for the majority of the run. I can buy repair kits later and just kind of fix it up as I go, so I figured why not head back to Good Springs to do Ghost Town gunfight while nearly shooting Trudy in the back of the head because for some reason she decided to just run in front of my gun while I was trying to kill Joe Cobb. After that, I decided to pick up the quest and actually stay here and finish it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I just generally kind of do whatever on these runs. Sometimes I'm a murder hobo and I just slaughter absolutely everyone, but we're not going to be doing that this run. Anyways, I actually had high enough perception, and by extension, explosives, to talk to Easy Pete and pick up the dynamite, which I don't think I've ever been able to do in any of these runs, which was kind of neat. I got all of the people that would help me to help me, and then spawned all the powder gangers in so that I could go murder them. My screen had some weird little orange dot effect going on. I'm just going to blame it on a mod because I didn't really care to fix any of my issues this run since I was pretty rusty with New Vegas. I had all of them dead and figured why not go back to Black Mountain so that I could deal with the Nightkin for easy XP. I nearly got my limbs blown off and by extension died multiple times because of Annabelle. I kind of forgot how OP that missile launcher is whenever it's not in your own hands, and I spent about 5 minutes here just trying not to get my limbs blown off and waste more healing items than absolutely necessary. Tabitha was pretty much just me sitting in a corner pumping Recharger rounds into her head, which sounds kind of weird to say out loud, but nonetheless, she died, and I got some easy experience, so I went back to Good Springs to sell off a bunch of items because I was pretty low on stim packs after, having to heal my limbs multiple times because of that goddamn rocket launcher. I also went back to El Dorado and just kind of walked around killing raiders for a little bit. I don't know why. I also stopped by a random house that had a bunch of fiends in the basement and got clapped here a couple times, so I eventually just decided that it's not worth it, and I would just leave. I did try multiple times though to take them out, but for some reason they just had so much goddamn health compared to every other enemy that I've come across lately, so I just left. I figured it was about time for an armor upgrade, so I killed my favorite NPC, while nearly dying in the process, so that I could pick up his free suit of Mark II combat armor. After that, it was free game to finally go back into Freeside and kill all of the thugs that had annoyed me earlier. I didn't know the recharger pistol could make people explode like that, which was interesting. I thought about murdering the kings, but I decided against it because I wasn't feeling, the normal murderous rampage that I normally have whenever I walk by their establishment. This, however, did not save the Atomic Wrangler from my wrath, so I went in there and started committing domestic terrorism on the civilians inside and the guards, of course, because they had free shit, and shit in my pockets means that I have money for later. I also kind of forgot how good the Atomic Wrangler is just for like these little miscellaneous healing items because there's so much fresh food in here. It might honestly be one of the easiest sources of like fresh food in Fallout New Vegas. I really haven't come across anything else that sticks out as having that much fresh food, which is kind of interesting. Moving on, I made it into the strip. And my original plan when I got here was to, of course, go deal with Benny, first things first, but I got sidetracked when the Omertas annoyed me with their presence just by existing on the strip, so I decided to go in there and, of course, murder all of them instead. Now, I was mostly just looking for an excuse to kind of test the recharger pistol on them and get some free experience. I could have, just been diplomatic with them, like I was with Benny. See, now I took a different approach with Benny here, because instead of just murdering him or having Swank send him up to his room, I decided to just use a perk and have Benny die through PG-13 means. We're just gonna leave it at that, because I'd rather YouTube not demonetize me for saying what I actually did to Benny behind those closed doors. Vulpes annoyed me with his presence, so I of course murdered him with the pew pew gun. I actually really like the recharger pistol. It's kind of a weird gun, both the recharger guns are. The recharger rifle is just awful. The recharger pistol does so much more damage and I'm not really sure why. I don't know if there's like an actual explanation for that, why the recharger pistol is just a better gun than the rifle, considering you would think a rifle would be better than a pistol, but I'm not going to argue with it. They're both cool guns, but I just really like the recharger pistol. I don't think I've ever really used the basic recharger pistol on a run before. The only one I remember ever really using was the unique one, the MF Hyperbreeder Alpha, I think it is, and that one is just insane. I'm pretty sure it's automatic off the top of my head. I haven't used it in a couple of years, but I'm pretty sure it was an automatic recharger pistol, and it was just super fun to use. Anyways, now that the rambling is over about the goddamn weapon, I headed off to the fort so that I could talk to Caesar and get into the weather bunker to upgrade the Securitrons. The recharger pistol was actually surprisingly effective down here. I was taking out the projectrons in the turrets in about 3 to 4 shots, which was really surprising to me because these turrets are normally kind of a pain in the ass depending on what gun I have, or if I'm using a melee weapon, God forbid, for that run. So it was actually generally nice to not have to deal with robots that just absolutely sucked. This makes me think that this weapon would be really fun to take through Old World Blues, so I may end up doing that sooner rather than later. I had another Old World Blues video I was going to do, but I honestly don't remember what it was considering it's been months since I've actually done anything. Anyways, off to Nellis so that I could kill Pearl, which made the game crash. Thanks Fallout New Vegas. I don't know if it was just the curse of murdering an old lady, but I loaded back in and killed her again, and then headed off to the hangars because for some reason with Yes Man you only need to kill Pearl, but for Mr. House you have to kill all 3 of like the main people with the boomers. I spent like 5 minutes wandering around in here trying to find Jack and Loyal. I don't know where they were. They literally were just not in the hangar and then they just kind of appeared out of nowhere. I'm just gonna ignore that and move on. I'm being haunted by the ghosts of New Vegas at this point, and it was time for the Brotherhood. I absolutely hated this entire segment, honestly. It was terrible. The recharger pistol, because it's, the recharger pistol, it doesn't have conventional ammo. It doesn't, let you reload it so that you can just keep mag dumping the Brotherhood, which is generally how I have to kill them with the majority of my runs that use firearms, because I have to, mag dump 40 bullets into their head, reload, do it again, unless I'm using a weapon that is just really good, like I have in some of the videos that I found out is very effective against the Brotherhood. The recharger pistol is not one of those. It has a recharging effect, hence, recharger pistol, where you have to wait on the ammo to basically regenerate itself into the gun. This, of course, means that the Brotherhood was a complete pain in the ass, and it took me about 20 minutes just to get through the bunker and blow it up. I didn't even kill everyone in there. I skipped the entire first room after you go through the front door because I just couldn't bother dealing with all the turrets and everything. Anyways, off to El Dorado, which was glitched out because the NCR was not hostile to me for some reason. I'm still not entirely sure why, considering they've shot at me every other run that I've dealt with. I don't know. Fallout New Vegas just likes to break on me a lot. I don't question it anymore. I just accept it and let it happen because that's how you have to deal with old Bethesda games. And by extension, this is an Obsidian game, so we're just going to include that in there. Anyways, second Battle of Hoover Dam. I was actually pretty optimistic when I got here. The recharger pistol was doing pretty good damage against the Centurions, probably because of my crit skills that I had taken to actually make this thing an absolute monster. I feel like energy weapons are just really meant for critting in New Vegas, especially the tri-beam laser rifles. Those things are absolutely disgusting on a crit build, but it was doing really, really good, and I was very optimistic that I would actually be done with the run rather soon. And then I got to the Legates camp. Now, it started out just fine. The Praetorian guards weren't really that bad. They took, maybe 5 to 10 shots to take down, if I didn't miss or anything. It was generally not that bad. It was when I got to the Legate, I realized that I had absolutely no chems to make this fight easier, and then I saw that the recharger pistol was doing a whopping, 10 to 30 damage every shot against the Legate. I tried running because for some reason, of course, this run decided to not glitch out and spawn all of his guards whenever I attacked him. For some reason, my New Vegas is 50-50 whenever it does that. It either spawns none of the guards or it spawns all of them, and then it multiplied them by 5. I swear, I had to kill 40 guards in this place. It took me almost half an hour just to get through the Legate's camp, and not even kill the Legate, just keep myself alive, killing all the legionaries, so that I could have a chance to actually kill the Legate. I burned through 40 stim packs here and had a ridiculous amount of time just spent running in circles and then getting shot in the back because for some reason they spawned 10 of them with guns. But eventually I did it. I persevered. I didn't even die here, which was more surprising to me than anything. I actually just made it through the camp and killed everybody without dying. It just took an obscene amount of time. So of course, General Oliver arrived, I killed him with all the Securitrons, and I beat Fallout New Vegas with only the recharger pistol. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I appreciate each and every one of you for showing support to the channel. Again, I am terribly sorry that I have just been dead to the world for the last couple months, and I haven't really been around to upload anything for you guys. But of course, I'm going to try to be better about that going forward and try to kind of balance my content with my life again, as I used to. But of course, it's a little difficult with the work schedule and everything, and there's never telling when life issues are going to come up. But I appreciate you guys for being patient and hanging out and letting me just kind of do whatever I needed to get done so that I could get back to making some content for you guys. As always, if you have suggestions, leave them in the comments below, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.